Hey, I'm Christi Tims. I am a dance fitness instructor and I have been teaching dance fitness for 2.5 years, and formerly I had attended Zumba classes for about 8 years. So I have been meaning to do this for quite a while now. I wanted to put together some tips for students, whether you are going to dance fitness classes, whether they're Zumba or Hit Fit or dance fitness, dance fit like I call it. Just because I have noticed in the time that I've been doing this that a lot of students don't know a lot of things, whether it's basic rhythms that they can do for the dance or just things that they're uncomfortable with, and have some questions. And sometimes it's really hard to ask questions in the middle of class because your instructor just keeps going and going. So this is sort of my video for students, how to get the most out of your experience going to a dance fitness class. Number one, ask questions to your instructor. So if there's something you're not sure about, whether it's an injury you have, modifications that you can do, you're just not getting a step, something like that, ask your instructor, just depending on the situation of the class. So in my class, for example, I always welcome people to ask between songs. It's always okay to say, hey, I really didn't get that step. Can you show us how to do it? And chances are, if one person has the question, other people do too. So I allow for that between the songs. I know some instructors just keep it going with a flow and no breaks. And in that case, it might be more appropriate to ask before class or after class, or even just shoot them a text or something. It always just depends on the instructor. But anyways, don't compare yourself to other people. Really, that's of absolutely no value to compare yourself to anybody else. Your only competitor is yourself, and showing up to class means that you're winning. You want to recognize the repetitive moves. So there are a lot of moves that you'll see come up again and again. So within a song, a normal format will follow a verse, chorus, verse, and the steps will be the same for every time that same verse comes up or every time that same chorus comes up, usually. Sometimes variations are added. So for example, the first time it might be just feet, and then we might add arms the second time, okay? And then we might do something that started as just a straight movement, might add a turn or something, okay? So sometimes it gets progressively more complicated as we go, or trickier in terms of fitness. But that's the general format, and it's always repetitive. So watch for those same movements as we go. Also watch for repetition between songs, because there are basic steps and basic rhythms that we choreographers like to use over and over again, and we do this on purpose so that our students can understand what we're doing. So cues. As dance fitness instructors, we cannot call out every single move as we are dancing, because either you won't hear us over the music, I like to have my music pretty loud, or there just isn't enough time to do it. So we use visual cues, so our hands. So for example, if I am holding up 2 fingers, that means something is going to happen 2 times, and then 1 time, and it can sometimes progress. So I could go 4, 3, 2, 1, okay? And those fingers are showing you how many times we're going to continue that step, okay? Other cues that we use a lot, I know I do the good old slap the leg. If I slap my leg and point forward, we are stepping forward on that leg, okay? So, and same as slap to the side, watch where we're hitting, okay? Because a lot of instructors do that. Boom, here. Hand pointing, so if I point, down, it means we're tapping out or we're doing something where this foot is just gonna go out. If I'm pointing out like this, boom, like with a point finger or even just my hand, that means we're traveling in that direction somehow. Okay, so there's a difference between pointing down is usually a tap out or something that's gonna stay small or a step out, and this means we're traveling, okay? I also do the little helicopter when I can, and that means there's a turn coming, okay? Whether it's a push turn or a shimmy turn, this in my classes means we're turning. Touch your head. If an instructor says touches their head, usually that means you're going back to the top, so from the top, okay? The rolling fingers, if you're doing something and you get this, that means we are either doing it faster or harder with more effort and energy towards, is the keep going and it's gonna be faster or it's gonna be harder. So I'm gonna run you through some basic steps that a lot of dance fitness classes do, and then you'll start to recognize them in your class, as well as you can practice them with this video. You can pause and go back if you want. Okay, so one basic step that lots of instructors use is the V step. So you're gonna envision that you are making a V. So you're gonna step out, out, in. So if you can see, my feet are making a V. Boom, 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 boom. You can add a little hip into it, and often it changes direction. There's your cue. So this almost always means V step in my class, and slap the leg and point to where that other leg is going. There's your cue for your V step. Another move that we commonly do is the chasse. So that is where you're gonna travel. So often my cue will be out, my hands are out like this, saying you're going to travel back and forth in this space. So I'll move over a little bit to the side of the frame, and it's just step together, step, bum, bum, bum. That's your chasse, bum, bum, bum. So sometimes it's quick and you actually get your feet together, out, bum, and sometimes it's just jump, jump, jump. Okay, usually after a chasse, you're either gonna have a push turn or a ball change. So a ball change is going to the ball of your foot and changing feet. Chasse, ball change. Chasse, ball change. Chasse push turn is another one. Chasse, push. So you're gonna step, I'll move back so you can see my feet. Step on it, pivot on that foot, step on the same foot, and pivot again. Okay, so one more time. Step, pivot around on that foot, same foot. If you switch legs, step, pivot, step, pivot. So it's the same leg that goes around the turn both times. Pas de bourrée. Sometimes this comes up. A lot of times your instructors don't tell you what the moves are called. I have a couple of songs right now where we do like a tap, tap, pas de bourrée, tap, tap, pas de bourrée. What is a pas de bourrée? Pas de bourrée is 3 steps or a 3-step turn. A lot of times it's just switching feet. So sometimes it's behind, side, front, behind, side, front. So in dance, you might put your arms out and pas de bourrée. My feet, 1, 2, 3. And they're always changing weight. I'm always switching feet. Pas de bourrée, pas de bourrée. Okay, box step sometimes comes up in my class, not as often as it used to. Okay, box step, you're making a box with your feet. So you're doing cross, behind, to the side, back up to the front. So if I was drawing with my feet, if my feet had a pencil, then I'm creating a box. Cross, behind, side, front. Other way, cross, behind, side, front. I usually cue a box step with a cross with my arms, okay? Because then you know we're going cross. All right? Often I have people in class say, oh my gosh, I cannot follow what you were doing with your hands and your feet and it's too much. Hands on hips is the best way to modify. If you cannot keep up with a step with arms and legs, just do the feet. Whatever the feet are, just do the feet. That way you're still moving, you're still doing something, and then as you get more into it, you can add arms, whatever they are. Sometimes we get really complicated. I don't know, I'm making it up right now. But either way, just do the feet if it's getting too complicated to start. And then you can build the arms later. You can start to add the arms later. If you have issues with joints, the most common things that I've seen are shoulders, knees, ankles, feet issues sometimes. You need to make sure that you're wearing good shoes is probably one of the best things that I can say to you. And also different floors require different modifications. So right now I'm on this lovely laminate floor that's kind of got the perfect grip for my shoes. So I can do lots of knee twists and things like that. If I'm on carpet or something that's not as conducive to twisting, I might turn a knee twist into a knee lift, okay? And if you've got knee issues, you don't want to be torquing those knees, so you want to turn a twist into a lift. Things like that, okay? If turning bothers you, if a spin makes you dizzy, don't do a turn. Just do a step or something and replace it with something else, keeping forward. If that turn is gonna make you dizzy, don't do it. If we're doing a pivot, so say you're doing something where you're pivoting around, this leg can take a lot of torque. So on this floor, again, if I'm doing something where I'm twisting front, I can just kind of keep my weight consistent on that. Sometimes I might have to actually lift this foot up, okay? If I teach in one venue that has carpet and it's very difficult to turn, and I lift that foot up. And even something like a push turn, I have to really go up on the ball of my foot, almost on my toes, to make that turn happen, because I just can't, I don't want that torque on my hip and on my knee. Okay, so there's lots of modifications that you can do. If shoulders are a problem for you, if we're doing a stretch, like a shoulder stretch or something like this, don't do that part, okay? Just do this stretch and get the benefit in your legs and in your back, and don't push the shoulders, okay? Same as I've had people with shoulder injuries where raising above their shoulder height is too much for them. Just keep it low, that's okay. You can still do the same thing and do your arms low. That's whatever works for you, but you can always modify to fit your own body and wherever you are at. So don't skip the class, just come and modify. If you are a super rock star and you are super fit and you're finding that class is not enough of a challenge for you, you can add things to make it more challenging for yourself. So you can add a jump. For example, if you want to. So same as just regular squats, you're like, I do this all the time, it's not a big deal. Give it a hop when you come back up, okay? So you can add things to make it harder for yourself. If we're doing something like a tap out, get low if you want to really work those legs, okay? So there's lots of things that you can do. Making sure your arms are strong. So if my arms are out here, they're not down here, okay? So boom, like using your arms strong. If we're doing this, I'm not like spaghetti arms, okay? Because I'm gonna get a lot more arm benefit out of really tensing my muscles and having them up high and out from the shoulder and not da-da-da. This is not gonna do as much as boom, boom. I can even get my chest into it a little bit with a bit of a rib contraction, okay? So there's lots of ways that you can modify to make it more difficult for yourself. Hey, so this video is coming to you from isolation 2020 during our COVID-19 pandemic. I am isolated at home. I know a lot of you guys are too, so I thought it was a good idea to post some tips for you as you're taking online classes, maybe for the first time, or really missing your dance fitness classes. I know I'm teaching online right now on Zoom, and I am really missing being in the actual studio with actual people. So virtual hug to my students, to anybody who's watching, thanks for tuning in. Please check out my Facebook page. It is Dance Fit with Christi, and my name is spelled C-H-R-I-S-T-I. All right. keep dancing, and we will see you hopefully on Zoom in a class soon. And even more, hopefully, is in a studio sometime soon.